Israel wasn't being entirely truthful about what happened, or truthful at all. And the Russians have published radar snapshots to prove it. The 4 Israeli F-16 jets weren't in Israeli airspace at the time of the incident, says the report. No, one of them was just behind the Russian Il-20, baiting an S-200 missile fired at it. You can clearly see their game on radar. The Israeli jet maneuvered to put the Russian aircraft between it and the missile. The missile then switched targets to the larger and slower-moving Russian aircraft. The moment it hit, the F-16 turned tail and flew away.
All claims by Israel about its non-involvement in the tragic incident that claimed the lives of 15 Russian service members are lies.
Irregardless of what happened, Israel continues to place all possible and impossible blame on Iran and its allies. Also promises to continue to defend its interests in Syria, meaning bomb Syria at will, except that'll be harder to do. Russia is taking action to protect its pilots. Syria will now be supplied with S-300 air defense systems, which will change the rules. It'll be much harder for Israel to mount these little bombing expeditions. More, the Russians will now jam missiles and jets attacking Syria from the coast. They'll also be upgrading Syria's air defense network.
It is reasonable in the current situation and is, first and foremost, aimed at preventing any potential threat to the lives of Russian servicemen.
It's as the Russians said, circumstances have changed, and latest events leave Russia no choice and leave Israel upset. Obviously, Russia and Israel have different definitions of the word irresponsible. Russia would say that hiding from a missile behind one of its aircraft is pretty high up there on the irresponsibility chart.
We're sure that the implementation of these measures will cool some hot heads and will keep them from ill-judged moves that could threaten our servicemen.
And it isn't just Israel that's angry now that it can't act or bomb or hide behind other planes where and when it wills. The United States, surprisingly, none too happy either.
Many topics that we'll talk about with the Russians. I'm very confident that their latest decision to move the S-300 will be amongst them. We're finding lots of places where they're working against American interests, and we will hold them accountable for so doing.
National Security Advisor John Bolton calls it a significant escalation, a major mistake, wants Russia to reconsider, and promises to stay in Syria.
We're not going to leave as long as Iranian troops are outside Iranian borders, and that includes Iranian proxies and militias.
Never mind the irony here. No other nation in the world has as many of its troops outside its borders as the US. Never mind also that despite all their talk about Iranian aggression, Israel has attacked Syria a heck of a lot more times than Iran has attacked Israel. Never mind all of that. What is interesting is that that's a very strong reaction. Why would the United States be so concerned that Syria can now defend itself a little better?
The U.S. does sometimes release such information, one could argue, but is also reluctant to do so, as you point out, partly because they claim, this is classified sources and methods, partly because they claim that their word should be good enough. We should all take their word. And, this is a dynamic that we see over and over, that they want world public opinion, U.S. public opinion, to accept the statements of U.S. government officials at face value and not to demand evidence, because they want to preserve the ability to have such authority, such unquestioned authority in the future.
A Russian aircraft was set up. 15 people are dead. One might, of course, ask how Israel or the US would have reacted if their jet was set up to take the fall. Safe bet, it would probably have involved a lot of bombs.